And good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Hawkeye session. It is Friday, December 11th. Trading the foreign exchange on margin carries a high level of risk and may not be suitable for all investors. The high degree of leverage can work against you as well as for you. Before deciding to invest in the foreign exchange, you should carefully consider your investment objective, level of experience, and risk appetite. The possibility exists that you could sustain a loss of some or all of your initial investment, and therefore you should not invest money that you cannot afford to lose. You should be aware of all the risks associated with the foreign exchange trading and seek advice from an independent financial advisor if you have any doubts. Again, this is a Friday session. This is Open Mic Friday. We'll be going on till about 9:30, maybe a little bit after, depending on what the market gives us. This is a live trading room. It is for educational purposes only. No financial advice or recommendation will be provided. Any trade taken during the live session is not a recommendation or a suggestion that you should also do the same. Past performance is not indicative of future results. Do not trade money you cannot afford to lose. And before trading live, always operate with a written trade plan that identifies the rules for entries, exits, targets, and risk management. And with that, we did have an alert at 6:15 this morning when the Aussie US dollar, and we'll take a look at that. And I believe I'm actually already in this trade. And hang on just 1 second. I'll be with you in just a minute. Need to do something here real quick. And okay, so anyway, we'll get going here. Right now, what I did, we had a couple things we had going on with this one. We had an alert at 6:15 this morning.
You
And
still have
so
your
I,
splash screen now.
I need to, thank you, thank you,
You're
thank you.
welcome. Sorry to interrupt. But we
No,
need that.
no, no, you can make me, get me so I don't sit there and talk to myself with no one's looking at what I'm doing here.
Yes.
There we go. And so I've got a couple of things. Basically, I've got, let's take this off here. Basically, we had an alert at 6:15, and it was a ascending wedge, which basically it was pretty much going from the low to the high, and we had a little flat top. But we also got a harmonic alert. So I'm going to draw the harmonic on this along with the wedge, so you can see how it kind of overlaps and see how they kind of play together. Uh, so what we did, we had a harmonic, and I'm going to the 15-minute chart. And we had a harmonic, and this harmonic was basically, there's different types of harmonics and different types of harmonic patterns. But anyway, this one was drawn with the our X point up here. Here is the low. Here is the pullback. Here is another low, and basically this is going to be this is basically the target for this. But basically, what we're looking at, we're seeing that this is it's an uptrend. We had a pattern out here that's given us a wedge. We got the wedge alert. And so I drew the pattern. So what I usually do with these is I'll take it from the X to there's the X to the A, pulls back. These are all different types of retracements. Like from the X to the A to the B, the retracement in this case was about 40%. From the B to the C, the retracement was, or actually from the B to the C, the AC retracement was right at 87%. And then the target is going to be up here based on the angles and the percentage of Fibonacci retracement. I'll draw the trend line from the X to the B all the way down to basically where the AC line intersects. So this gives us a triangle right in through this area. We had the alert. So as I expand this alert, make this a little bit bigger. And so you'll see that I have my X to B ray extended all the way down to where it intersects the AC ray. And so once it breaks this ray here, which is actually a little bit before where we actually had the harmonic, where I drew the harmonic. So this gave us a real nice early entry off of the harmonic. And I got in right here to go long, and my target is right up here, about ready to hit my target, which is basically, actually, I could almost even go a little bit higher. This is basically the red Fibonacci, 2 minute Fibonacci red line. And there's a good chance it's going to go all the way up here. I'm going to just take my profit right here, and we'll see if it pulls back again. So this was that trade. But these harmonics, really, it'll give you nice little entries. What it does, it puts you into different triangles. You have a triangle here. You have a triangle here. And once it breaks out of one triangle, then you're looking at going towards the, either starts forming some other wedges or things. But right now, this is the ultimate target way up here. Now, it's not going to go up there anytime soon. It could take several days, and more than likely, it's not going to happen today. But we were able to get a nice early entry, get the breakout, and we're looking at pretty much taking our profit right here on this one. And that's even before it even comes to retest the upper part of the wedge. And there's probably could be a little bit of a trap up here between where the B, our fib line is, and the wedge. And we'll keep an eye on this as the morning progresses. And just, there it goes, took my profit. And so we'll just see if it's going to challenge the top of this and see if this is going to end up being a little trap area. We'll see if, and we'll just see it. I'm going to anticipate that it's going to come up here, tag this, maybe come up here, pull back, maybe retest the C area, or maybe retest this trend line now. This one's already been broken. By the time this thing comes back, it may retest this trend line, which is basically which would give us a nice little W pattern for the further move up. Maybe see how these Fibonacci's work. And these are 7 pips apart, I believe, from this is at 75.44 to 75.37. So these are 7 pip spreads. If it comes up, it's going to be about halfway. This will probably be somewhat of a little bit of an overshoot. This would be the overshoot area of this 5-minute line. This is the undershoot area. This is 7 pips above. This is 7 pips below. You can see it's coming right into, and this would be where I'd be looking at possibly taking it short again, only if everything was looking right as far as the range. We do have the RSIs coming up. We do have us up at the 75 period. I could be looking at this thing to hook down and possibly retrace back down to maybe even take a short on this point at this point. Right now it's somewhat range bound, and we'll see what it's going to look like. Let me go to our 15-minute chart, and we'll check out their Fibonacci's or RSI's on here. This is still pointing up. If this thing gets on up to the 75 area and hooks, and we get this one to cross over, that may be the pullback. Right now, everything is moving up in the right direction. And once we got the break of this trend line, you can see here where it came back up. We got the break. We had a little bit of a pullback. As this was a nice. I just took it as when it came into this zone right in here. We did get a little bit of pullback right here, but we can see everything is still trending on up, still giving us some upward pressure to the upside. And until these turn around, this is still going to be an up move with some minor pullbacks along the way. You can see this is where the pullback's coming in. We had, it came up to 75. It's up to the 75. This one isn't up to the 75 level yet. So this could be a nice little pullback before we see a nice little target. And we'll see if it pulls back and retest the wedge here. Or it retests the 62 moving average off the 1 minute. But all of our moving averages are in the right direction. We have the green, yellow, white. We have now this one hasn't crossed yet, so it's not quite. We have the cross of the 5 and the 13. We did get the break of the 62 on the 5-minute chart. But I suspect we might get a little bit of a pullback as it's hitting this trend line, and this Fibonacci line. But there is some strength to the upside. We have the 4-point spread on the Aussie and US. The Aussie's got 7 and the US has a 3. And so we have strength on that side, strength and strength. So we don't want to be taking it short, but we may want to look at maybe buying a pullback.
Al,
Yes.
When you were doing the harmonics, like the setup,
Yes.
d- you chose your take profit at because it was where the B was. Is that what
Yes.
you had said? Okay, I just wanted to
Yeah.
make sure I
Yeah.
understood.
Yeah. That was, I figured I figured the reason why I took my profit where I did,
Mm-hmm.
and I said it may go on for another 100 pips for all I know.
Sure.
But what I liked about this is that we had so we got in early,
Mm-hmm.
but we still have this little where we had the alert. We still had our wedge, and the alert came all the way down into here. As far as it was see, it was an ascending. Was interesting that it was an ascending wedge. So it's
Yes.
actually looking at this low to this higher low. So this was the ascending part. But if you can look and see, this is a strong move down overnight. So it's going to start to retrace and probably come up and retest this area eventually. Now, as we see, one thing I like about with this harmonic pattern is it shows you where the M's and W's are. And as you look at, so if you look at the overall harmonic, as you look at the overall harmonic, you see that here's your W, here's a long way down, here's a pullback, here's another retest, a little bit higher low,
Mm-hmm.
and then here's the W. And usually the W's are at the bottom of a pattern to go long, and then the M's are at the top of the pattern to go short. So here's our W, it's coming out, and right in here was where we have this whole area right here is where we have our 5 minute range, which overall is going to be, I think it's going to be 21 pips through here, about 21 pips or so in between our 5 minute pattern here. So once it breaks out of this and comes back down and retest it, then we may be off to the races to be able to just watch it start trending on up to get to our target area. And there'll be some pullbacks along the way. But like here's the W, here's the W, here's another little smaller W. It's going to come back, and we'll just see if it. So right now it's still in this range between this 5 minute range of the 5 minute harmonics. And right now this is in the upper third. This trap right now is right in the upper third. This trap is going to be in the bottom third. As I draw here, here's the bottom third of this thing right in here. And so right now it's still trading inside this range, going sideways. It is starting to trend a little bit up here. It came up, but it's not quite ready to break out. Once it breaks out, then we have all this lower up here, which would be the next target. This would be the next target that we'd be looking at for a target retest zone. Because here was a drop, here's a basing, strong drop, came back up, retest. You can see where it's these highs, this B, and it's all right here by this blue Fibonacci. So right now it's trading in between here, and just let it go sideways and just try and go short up here, maybe go long down here. But once it breaks out of the top, it should come up, retest it, and this would be another retest area right up in this area. Let's see, let me mark that as a retest. There we go. And you can see, and like I say, you can see where there's the drop, the base. And again, this is going to be right at, this is your higher time frame Fibonacci. This is probably going to be that might be a 15-minute, let's see, that might be the 15-minute Fibonacci. Nope. Let's see, where's the 15? I got to look and see where the 15 is. There's a 15-minute red. I'll mark that one.
Down.
There we go. And we're going to lock this. And we'll see there's a 15-minute blue. Probably another 15 minutes somewhere in here.
I think it's by the
It should be right in
dotted
here.
line.
It should
The
be in here
dotted,
someplace.
yeah, by
I
a
think it's
dotted
right here.
angle. Yeah,
There it is,
wedge.
right there. There it is. That's what I was looking for. Thank you.
You're welcome.
And this is a 15-minute green right in here, right, pretty much right where the price is right now. You can see where it's sort of, let's see, did I catch that?
No.
I didn't, did I? Why is it not taking that? Oh, I know what the problem is.
Oh, maybe because you're online.
I just had the wrong 15-minute green. Here we go. There we go. That's what I'm looking for. I know it's around there someplace. Let me take this one off. Get that out of the way. Blue. Actually, the green should be.
A little higher. A bit higher.
Actually, it should be. Actually, it should be a green down below here.
Mm-hmm.
It may not be showing up. Okay, that one's just not showing up because of where the price is. You know what? That's probably right there. That's where this is a 15-minute green right there. That's what I was looking for, which is the same as the 5-minute blue. Any line at the 15 is going to be a lot stronger than if it's any line on the 15 is going to be blue on the lower time frames. It'll be blue. It'll be a blue 5. So we have basically this all the same price right here. And that's why we're looking at this is going to be a little bit of an area. It's going to have to take a little bit of strength to get through that because you got a double, and you also have a 2-minute blue right here. So you've got 15, the 5, the 2 are all in the same spot. And then once it gets through this area, then this is going to be the medium up until the next area where it's going to run into some supply up here. And so that was basically my trade right there. And let's see, we don't have any other alerts yet. Nope.
So above that, those fibs that you just drew into the retest area, that's roughly 10 pips. The measurement on that? No?
From here to here.
Yes.
That's a good question. Let me see here. That's going to be from 5. There's probably going to be a Fibonacci zone right about in here. Here's 14 is going to be right about here. I'll bet there's going to be a Fibonacci line right about in there. Let me see. Let's put a 5-minute on here. Actually, it's probably going to be a 2-minute. Right here. And right, so actually this retest zone is going to be pretty much right here, this 7 pip region right in this area.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have this would be the 2-minute blue. Let's see what other one it might be. Something else up there. Yeah, 5-minute green. So again, the same thing is you have a 5-minute green, which is going to be a 2-minute blue. 5-minute green, and it's going to be the same thing as a 2-minute. Oops, let me do another clone here. This would be a 2-minute blue.
Yep.
And this is basically the middle between, this would be the undershoot, and this would be the overshoot of this one. This is probably the sweet spot right in the middle. A lot of times you'll see the price will come up right to the halfway between the two, and then it'll pull back again. And this is why this would be a retest or even like a trap area. It's usually pretty good if you can find a price action that falls inside these little zones like this. That gives you a little bit more confirmation that these zones are valid. Any questions? Like I said, this is Open Mic Friday. Anybody's welcome to just let us know you have something to say, and we'll turn your mic on so you can add your 2 cents to the equation here. I did get another harmonic on the Euro US. Since we're not getting any wedge alerts, so let's just take a look at some of these other harmonics. And this is one that I took earlier. Again, it came up. We had the harmonic. Let me draw this on a higher time frame so you can see what I was doing. I said when we don't get the alerts, then we always have some other means of looking for trades. That's the other thing we're trying to teach in here and trying to get everybody used to is just seeing what other options there are out there and how to be able to find trades on your own and be able to feel comfortable that you're going to get some profit out of it. And so here is the harmonic. Let me see if I can scrunch this up some.
Al, what time did you get the harmonic roughly?
This one came in. Let's see, what time was this one? I have to go back and see. It was right around 6:42 this morning. And this was on a 30-minute chart is where this one came from.
Okay.
So if I put this on a 30-minute chart, you'll see here's my X, here was my A, here is the B. This was a little bit different pattern, a little bit tighter pattern. X to A, the B, it marks the C and projects the D. And this is where we want to try and take our trades from the, when it gets to the C area and you get the pullback, and this is where I put the trap in. And you want to try and get in on the break. But when it came up to the C area, which we had I drew the wedge on this. Actually, this really wasn't a wedge alert, I don't believe. There was a wedge alert at 5:45. Let's just draw that one out and just see if we can see what this thing was looking at here. I have to get on to a different chart. 15-minute chart. At 5:45, we had the alert. And at the alert, we had a descending wedge. So we're looking at going down. And actually, this is like that AC area right here where the alert was. Actually, that's where it formed the C on the harmonic. And so it came down. It formed our B. And so the wedge that I was actually would be looking at on this one would be, it was descending. So I'd be looking at, well, I prefer to have something more flat over here. Actually, we kind of have this wedge here, which is basically the strong move down, came back up and retested this. It'd be hard to, this is probably actually the wedge we're looking at right here where this ACB area is. I don't know if I can draw this or not. Get to a lower time frame, see if we can draw it out a little bit better. Looking at, here's an A, here's where the alert was. It was descending, so I'd have to bring this one over here a little bit higher. This is kind of a little bit like a head and shoulders. Here's a shoulder, here's the head, here's the other shoulder, and then it breaks on down. But basically what happened was when it came down, it retested this. It was the descending wedge. If we look at the overall picture, we would have to have used this B right here, which is the B for the harmonic. Came up, made a high. And here's where the wedge was alerted, right in this area. It's hard to draw it on the 15-minute because it really wasn't very evident on the 15. But here's a little descending. Here's a high, here's a low, here's the lower high, here's the higher low. This was where the alert was. It broke down, came all the way down, and let's see, where's our Let's get back on the harmonic here again so we can see where the X was over here. Here's the trend. We had our wedge up in this area, came back down, tested it, broke through, couldn't hold it. This is the head fake. So this is the area where we took the trap. I took the sell up here, looking for it to come down, retest the bottom. Once, if it can break through the bottom of this, you can see where the 15-minute did not close below the wedge, or just barely closed below or right on it. Came back up, retested the C area. This is where I took the trap. This is where I got in. Use the top of the C. As long as the C held, we were good. Take it short, and now basically I can pretty much take it on to get my target right here, or I can take the target on down a little bit lower to see if I can get it, run it all the way down to the bottom of the, where the D is. I could look and see where some Fibonacci lines are. And see if there's any higher time frame Fibonacci's. I'll go and start with the 15-minute. So if I can find a 15-minute target in there, and here's the 15-minute red. I'll use this for a target. I'll mark my 15-minute red. And I'm going to look and see where that's a 15-minute. I'm going to look and see where the 2-minute area is. Here's my 2-minute green. So my target zone is going to be right in this area. Even though it's all the way down here, here's the undershoot, and here would be the overshoot. So I'm going to mark both of those areas. So here's a target. And this would be the same thing. This would be the undershoot of the 15-minute. As it comes in, comes down, tags it, and sometimes it will tag it and go back up, or sometimes tag it comes through and then go back up. So I usually like to try and take my target right in here, right before it gets to the somewhere in this area is where I like to try and take my profit. Again, don't be greedy. If it comes in, it's going to be looking for this 15-minute area. Grab your 7 pips before, just leave a little bit for the next guy. So that's the target area there, and here's the other target would be over down below, and this would be the overshoot. As it's coming down, it undershoots the 15, or it comes through and overshoots it. Here's the overshoot. Here's the undershoot. Now, I also expect it may get a little bit of a bounce off of this trend line here as well. And we got in at this at 21.30, so 7 pips would be a 21.23. So we can mark this as 21.23, which would be, it's already there. And I was looking for, this would be probably about 12 pips. 30, so 20, 12 pips would be at 18. And that's right. And you're looking at, you'll probably get a little bit of a bounce here. I can take my profit off. Thank you very much. And wait and see if it comes back and maybe retest, or if it breaks and comes back in, I can get back in again. So in this case, I could be looking at a break, a retest, and then my next target.
We just had a US yen alert.
Oh, thank you.
So you know.
If it wasn't for someone to tell me, I wouldn't ever see them. US yen. Okay, let's take a look at that one. Any questions? Any questions of this maneuvering here on this, or these harmonics, and how to work with these harmonics? Any questions about that? If not, we'll go on to the US yen and see what we have there. Make the chart big, open it up, see what we have in the past. clear off the screen, clean off I can look right now, I'm seeing that we're getting some consolidation on the moving averages. US yen at 830, and it's at ascending wedge. Here is 830. Ascending, which means it's going from low to high. So we have a little, if we look and see here on our 15-minute chart, we have a little low to high up here. Low, here's a high, here's a higher low, which is right, we'll call it right there, and going up to the high. Kind of like bringing this thing back a little bit more. Let's take it to a 5-minute chart so we can see a little bit better what we've got. We do have during the daily range, this is the overnight range right here. So here's a low, here's a higher, here's a low, here's a high, low, lower high, higher low. And so we do have a little bit of actually looks like it's already kind of breaking out from the overnight range. So here's the low, here's the high, here's the higher low, and then we have the alert. Pretty much right in this area, like here. Let me take this one off. And so we wait and see what do we do with this one? Let's see what our RSI look. Right now it's coming down on the RSI, the higher time frame, the 15-minute. Both these are paralleling down. So I'm be looking for somewhat of perhaps either you could probably try and take it short in here and see what it looks like on the lower time frames. That's showing a short, that's showing a short. But right now we're pretty much in the middle of the range here.
That is a 15 that you're on.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome.
That works. You can always count on Christine to keep me straight. And Eva too.
Thank you.
We're good.
I don't want to forget Eva. Eva's these two are my left and right hand people here.
Your handlers.
Yeah, you're my handlers. Yeah, there you go.
That's good. That's funny.
All right. So what I'm looking at a range. Is that kind of at the top of the range? The question is where's the strength? I'm going to look down here and see where the strength is. Right now, the dollar and the yen are pretty much neck and neck. Now this is starting to get a little bit stronger on the dollar side. Dollar gets stronger, we're looking to go long. If it would Japanese yen floats up here to the top. Right now the yen's stronger. The yen's stronger on the 1, 5, and 15. The dollar's stronger on the 15, but everything's pointing down there, everything's pointing down here, everything's pointing down here. Right now, I do not want to take it long with that type of, and plus you're at the top of the move. You see we have like a little bit of a wedge right in here. If we draw a secondary wedge, here's a low, here's a high, here's a higher low. You can flat top that. If this thing breaks the bottom of this area right in here, I would like to see it come up to this area, with this getting up in the 75, this getting more up into the 75 area. I got these, I could change these. The 75 and 25. You see, really right now, they're still kind of going sideways. They're kind of in the middle of this 40-60 area. But once this gets up to the 75 and we're down to the 25, that's where you want to try and take it long down here and take it short up here. Right now, I'm kind of staying out of this one because it kind of wants to break to the upside, but there's not enough confirmation yet to do so. Let's see if there's any harmonics that we could be looking at for this one. Let me check and see if there's anything on the charts. Nothing really. Let's see how this thing looks with the with our correlation. Let's see. Here's the. We'll see how we're looking at the U.S. yen. So on the 3-hour chart, the yen is pretty much right in the middle, just a little bit above. So there's not a lot of separation between the strength on that one. Not a lot of separation here either. This one's at number 7 and 6, so they're both showing strength. I'd rather be taking the U.S. to something else down here. And over here, pretty much the story is a little bit more conclusive. Dollar strength. So you have dollar strength here on the 5 and the 15 and the 30. It is showing like the dollar is getting a little bit stronger to the yen, but now here on the lower time frame. So you have conflict here. Here it's strong to the dollar. Here the dollar is strong. We're about even. I'm just going to let this one go. It does have some room, but it does break here. It does have some room to the downside. And we can measure that out and see how many pips we could get if it breaks. That's 13 pips to the bottom of this trend. I wouldn't expect it to go, and I would expect it maybe make another higher low, which would be in this area. So I'd be looking pretty much more of a trap area inside this wedge. The reason why I say that is because we have, these are the wicks that came down. I found some buyers in here, went back up. I'll probably come down, looks for some more buyers. There's probably still a few more buyers from that area. Let's see where the trap, there's the trap. And then at the top here, we're also looking at, see where our fib lines are. We don't want to forget those. First check and see if there's any 15-minute lines. And here's a 15-minute red line right here. And here's a 15-minute blue. And we'll find the 15-minute red. And we're going to be looking, seeing where, here's our red, here's our blue, and then we're going to put some 5-minute lines in between. So I'll put this over, now move it on to a 5-minute. And that way we can see our 5-minute areas, which is the third of this section. And we see it right in the middle between, here's the range, and we have, these are probably probably about 12 pip ranges here between the blue and the red, 12 pips. So it's trading inside a 12 pip range here. If it breaks, we could possibly get a retest down here to the let's see, just take this on up to the top here. Let's take a look and see. This might actually have a possibility of a trade here, but it's not going to give you a lot of, I wouldn't go for a lot on this one. Here's our, we didn't get, if we wait for a 5-minute break, if it comes back and comes back up into this area, we may be able to take a trade on this. There is enough room to the downside. Put some 2-minute lines on here. I expect to come down, bounce, maybe come up and retest this. If it can retest this area, I could be convinced to take it short. But looking at this being the area this would be the target area right in here. So right now I would see if it comes back and pulls back and retests this, you could take a shot at it to try and get this area. Or if it comes down to this zone, you could use this as a possible entry to go long. The range in between the bottom of this and then this fib line is 10 pips. So if you can maybe squeeze your middle 5 pips out of it right in this between this blue and red line, this would be about as good as I think you're going to get on this one. I'd like to see it pull back a little bit first. We do have red candles on the 15, the 5, and the 1 both. If it comes up there with the blue candle, you may be able to take a buy or sell stop right below this area. It will still give you enough room to get down here for a target. This definitely be a scalp trade, and you'd be looking at only 5 pips. Strength pointing down below the 40-60 area. Here's the pullback a little bit. Here's a nice basing area right in here. If we take a market sell, it will probably get us right about in this area. Rather see it come up to a sell limit of 104.09. We'll see if it fills us on that. And my stop would be up here with above the crest of this 62, 104. If we get into 09, I want to probably take it on up to at least this Fibonacci line up here to 104.13. Try and learn to make the price come to you. For go to the target of 104. Let's see, 104.00 we'll start with.
Did
Check
you
it
get
out
in
on the
at
1
all,
minute
Al?
chart. What was that?
Did you get in?
Not yet.
Yeah.
It didn't fill me yet. See, this is where it got it. The spread's not just kept me out of it.
Oh,
I could use a sell market now at this point. I don't like doing that, but it was just for educational and demonstration purposes.
that's what I ended up doing. Getting in by, I got in at 108. By the time I hit sell, it had popped back down a little bit.
It just missed my entry by probably about half a pip, half a tick. If we look over here where the last pivot was off of this in this area, you can see where it tested this green Fibonacci line. I'll take that cell off. And we'll give this thing a target. And we're going to use the target of, let's just try 103.98. That's 8 pips. And we'll put our stop in. We'll give it 10 pips. All goes well, it shouldn't even come close to taking our stop. But we'll have it in there for protection, just in case. And we'll see how this goes. I like the fact that the wedge was alerted up at the top of the move and wanting to go short with it, because it gave us some room here rather than try and take a breakout when it was already up high. Also, we had the 62, the 30-minute 62 sitting right up here, right where the alert came in. It really didn't give us a lot of time. I mean, we're only looking at a few minutes, so we had time to be able to get into this trade where we saw the break on this 1 minute. Now let's take a look and see where the break was on the 5 minute. I think that's important to see. This was the first close on the 5 minute, so that's at best we would have been able to get in. This is right about where it closed. It went down. It did come back up and retest this little area in here. If we put this right at the bottom of where this 5 minute closed, go back to our 1 minute and see where that was, where I was trying to get in up there, and see if it, kind of curious myself to see where, yeah, I had this pullback, I had the pullback come in, it pulled back, I had my entry right here, but the spread just was not enough to get me into the trade. And had I put my sell stop right here at the bottom of this candle, as soon as it was up here, it probably would have got me in with that sell stop. As soon as I put that in, it probably would have triggered that sell stop. But then I still wouldn't have known whether or not it was going to go up higher into this area. So it is what it is.
Right, gonna leave some pips on the table for the next stop.
Yeah. We'll start seeing where some of our pip ranges are. Our Fibonacci ranges. There's the 2 minute. Let's see. Yep, these are all 2 minutes here. 2 minute red, 2 minute green, and then the blue should be right down here where the 15 minute is. So right now we're looking at a green to a green zone right here is where this price is. And that should be probably 21 pips. No, 12 pips. Actually, the US Shin, it's a little bit less than that. So it's 12 pips, pretty much 12 pips between the green to green or red to red or blue to blue is 12 pips. And we're just trying to catch that third of it or 2/3 of it. In this case, it'd be about 8 pips. So if we can get in at the green line where it broke and came in, if you were able to get in here, your 8 pips would have been down to the red line. We'll let this one go for a little bit and just see how it goes. We're coming up on the 9 o'clock hour. We're only about 8 minutes away. There's a slight little pullback. So right now it's starting to trend. We have a strong push down, low, retracement, strong push down, retracement, And we should get maybe one more push down. And if it pushes down from, well, let's see here. We have, let's draw a stick. Let's take our range here.
Matt would have been happy.
Yeah. I just like taking it for about halfway into the wedge there.
Mhm.
And right here would be there's the target right there. So I guess coming back up to retest this little drop base drop area, drop, basing, drop, coming back to it. This is a new retest area. And does it still have the strength? Right now we still have, it's still pretty much lined up there. They're about the same strength there on the 1 minute. Let's see what it is on the 15. Now we're showing yen strength on both 5 and the 15. So they say we still hang in there.
Wow.
So he's coming back up to retest the wedge. Or this could have been the so-called head fake. That I mean, he still would have been able to get 5 pips out of it if you got it. If there again, it depends on where your entry was. If you had a good entry, you were probably able to get your 5 pips. You've had 6 pips. If you could have gotten through the spread, you've been all right. You could have gotten it. And it's not done yet. And it hasn't gone back. It hasn't gone back into the wedge. This could just be that first pullback. It looks like there was a strong pullback right back up into basically our little retest area. We were looking at this as being the 5 minute undershoot of the 15. Yep.
Oh, I got out of it. I grabbed a
Yeah.
couple of pips, but the yen and I have never been friends.
Yeah.
So when it starts doing this nonsense, I decide I'm getting out while the going's good.
Yeah, no sense. So, yeah, this one's. Let's see. Let me look at something else here. Yeah,
Well,
I still think it's going to go on down. Now that you got out, I feel much better than staying in this.
so do I for everybody else.
There it goes.
There it goes. See?
Yep. It's trying. And then if it comes back to see, where did this red line come from?
That's your take profit. Is it not?
Well, it's
no.
a box. I drew
that's
this
your
box
box.
for something. Yeah. That's a box for something.
The target area, maybe.
Yeah, but why is it up here? Oh, I know why. Because we had this. This was the. Actually, I would like it better down in this area right in here. Here's where the we had some probably a retrace extreme here on this at that level. Let me think. It's right around the dollar yen, around the 2015 time frame, which is should be over here 20. Which I'm just going to take this off because I don't really need it right now. I'm sure glad somebody reminded me about this little auto button.
Yeah. It's a time saver.
It is. You guys probably get dizzy watching me scroll things and spread things out.
No, well, my eyes are accustomed to it now, so it's all good.
I think we just got another alert.
Did we? Let me have a look.
Well, no, that was Airis back office. Yeah, let me see. You had to refresh here.
Oh, it's a U.S. Swiss.
U.S. Swiss.
U.S. Swiss descending.
Well, let's take a look at that. We'll keep this one. We'll keep our eye on this one, and we'll see if it gets our profit. And U.S. Swiss. I'm going to go to the. See how our euro went. The euro's still. We already took the profit on the euro. Anyway, I'm going to close that one out. Close this all out. And we're going to put this on the U.S. Swiss. And it is a descending. So why is it descending? Here's an area I had for a trap yesterday or a couple of days ago. Here's the range. We had a wedge, broke down, came back down into, bounced right off the 15 minute. All right, this is a trap to go long. It looks like it missed it, but came right down to the 15. So we're going to look this as being an, check out, see where, here's our 15-minute fib, is 15-minute fib lines. Let's put our 5-minute on so we know where they are. We're going to be looking for an undershoot and overshoot area. There we go. Let's put this on the 2 minutes, see where the 2 minutes are. That usually gives us a 7 pip range. I like this one a little bit better. That should give us a 12 pip range in here, I believe. Yep, how about that? So this would be the undershoot. And if so, basically undershoot would be the area that's the same thing as like having a trap in there. So let's draw this thing out. We'd have at 9 o'clock. So descending wedge. The only thing go with they were using this area right, this A right there. Actually, probably use this high, this low, lower high. Here's the wedge. There's the high, here's the low, here's the lower high, here's the higher low. There's our wedge. It's going to break out right up into this undershoot area. What kind of strength? We have all the RSI. Look where the RSIs are. They're up here at the 89 and 75 area. And this thing has a whole lot of strength. It's showing dollar strength to the Swiss by 4. Not a huge amount.
Still pretty solid though, really.
Yeah, but I don't know that it's going to.
It's gonna hold it.
I don't think I like this. I would be more apt to take this thing short up here than to take it long. Let's see what it looks like on the lower time frames. Look at our 5-minute chart.
That's still 15 now.
Oops, thank you. There's so much change around here that these things get out of whack and I don't always catch it.
To me all the time.
I'd be looking at this area being more of a trap if it comes up into here.
I guess the thing is, though, is it big enough that you might get some pips out of it going upward?
It would have to have a little bit. Let me see where where our moving averages are. We have a bounce here, so it broke through the 30-minute, came back up. Here's a W. W's go, the one leg of a W is the other leg of an M. So now if this thing comes up, I could see where this thing would come up. Here's what I'm looking at with this one. Here's a W. Here's the last leg of the W. The last leg of a W is the first leg of an M. I see it coming up here, coming back down, coming back up, maybe retesting this. Here's my M.
Heading down.
But I like this area up here, coming back down to retest the bottom of the wedge. Let's see what kind of room we have there. From like the A to here, that's 16 pips. That would be enough room. So I'd be more apt to look at this as being a short up in this area. And then coming back down to retest this 5 minutes 62.
Mm-hmm. And what's the price point of that green A? Yes, that.
This one?
8906.
Actually, this right here would be 8909, 8906 area. 8909 is the fib line. This is a fib line right here.
Mm-hmm.
So if we either come to the fib line, maybe halfway.
Okay.
If it comes up, halfway, comes back, breaks below this area, comes back and retests. So we might get like a little bit of an A, B, C retracement off of this middle of the M.
Mm-hmm.
I would not take this long right here. I'm looking more for a short. Strong move up, pull back. Came back up, tested it, couldn't quite make it, came back out. Now it's looking like it wants to make this first leg of the M. back down. Maybe come back down, maybe a little bit lower, maybe a little bit higher. And then come on down this way. And then retest. We have a blue zone right here. Let's see if we have any 15-minute zones anywhere. Here's a 15-minute red zone. So let's see where the 5-minute is. There's a 5-minute red. Came back past it, come back in, check it, pass it again, come back in, retest it. This area is a lot bigger than it looks. It looks a lot bigger than it is. That's 12 pips right there. Here's a green right there. You just take this off here. Here's our 15-minute red. This is the undershoot right up here. But here's the red line. Here's the 15-minute, 15, 5, 15, 5, 5, 15. I think. Was that a 5-minute? 5-minute blue. Or what is this? 2? Let me see here. Back to 5 minutes. There's a 5-minute red right there. Here's the overshoot. And there's probably a 2-minute right about in that area. There's a 5-minute green, which could be the target area. And we'll put our 2-minute chart lines in here to see where they fall. And you see it made a little bit of a higher. Here's the W right here. Here's the end of the W, beginning of the M.
Yep.
They come back down here, maybe retest this one,
Mm-hmm.
and then come back down, or it may go on up to retest. Give us a little bit of divergence possibly. Let's see where our RSIs are. This thing could come down and retest up a little bit higher still.
Yeah.
Right now, it's not ready for anything.
Is it just me, or does it seem that in the last couple of months, the majority of these wedge breakouts don't move out strong like they used to? You know,
They
or
don't seem to. The one we had earlier today actually didn't do too bad. The one
Yeah.
with the Aussie US, it wasn't too bad, but it was still kind of, even though, and you can see, well, what happened here. It was this the one we took, or was it the U? I think it was the US Euro US.
when?
No, it was the Aussie US and the Euro US, to both.
Yeah, we're still kind of playing around with this one here. This one we drew the stick, came all the way down. This one where Eva said she got out, but right now we have let's see, is this an M or this is a right now it's just not really giving us anything to hang our hat on. This is a 1 minute chart, so it's you can see the patterns, but it's not really gone any great distance on these.
No.
From here to here is only looking at, so you're only looking at 5 pips in about the last, how long?
27 minutes.
Let's say from here to here.
Yeah, so half an hour.
Last half hour, it's only ranged 6 pips in the last half hour.
Yeah, I find it makes it that much more difficult to. You kind of have to adapt your strategy, and it seems that that's what you're doing now. Where instead of doing the breakout, we're looking to, once it breaks out and it reverses itself, that's where we're looking to take our trades now.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is to see if there's any strength at the time with the breakout, but try to, but rather, again, I've never had a lot of success with breakout trades. I'm much better off in looking, it's starting to materialize here. I'm much better at trying to find rather than say calling it a breakout, it's like, it is in some way, it is a breakout, but it's a breakout to the short side if you're at the high end of the range, or a breakout to the upside if you're at the low end of the range. But trying to break out at an extreme is a lot tougher because usually that's where you get those head fakes. You're already low and you're trying to break out to a lower low, and oftentimes it just gets you just enough to get you sucked in and only to take your stop out. Now this was basically a breakout from the upper part of the range. This was the upper part of the range actually, and we had the breakout. So if we look at the higher time frame, and see, that's where I think where a lot of people get themselves trapped, myself included sometimes. If you look at the higher time frame, you're really looking at, I mean, in this case, it's really kind of in the middle of the range. So it really wasn't like it broke out up here or broke into the upside down here. It's just, it went up, it's the middle. So it's in the middle of this range and now it's breaking out. But this is going to be the area where it's, and you can see actually this one is where it's really going to be, the target's going to be.
We just had an alert 9:15 descending cab, US cab.
Okay, good. Okay. All right, we'll take a look at that.
See if I can see anything.
And actually, you can see where there's actually, I mean, just to take this real quick here, we're looking at here, it's actually a little bit of a harmonic. I can argue drawing a harmonic. What happened to my harmonic pattern?
I think it's up by the pitchfork. I think it's.
Oh, here it is right here.
Right.
This one.
Yeah.
You actually have a little bit of
Oh,
harmonic
okay,
from here.
there, okay.
X to A, X to A. Here's our B. C, D, and now it's coming back to retest. Actually, that was, yeah, that would be right. So anyway, let's go take a look at the CAD. We're not going to play with that one. US CAD. And this will probably be the last one. We'll draw this one out real quick before we go today. Go to our 15-minute chart. Take our fibs off. Take our, let's see, we have a 15-minute, so it's right at a 15-minute wedge. Here's the daily range. Looking at 9 o'clock was the 9:15.
9:15.
15-minute chart. It is a descending, so we're looking at going from high to low. So we're looking at this area right in here. So here's the high. Here's the low. Here's the lower high. Here's where the alert was. I kind of like to flat bottom this a little bit. Just try and tuck that in like that, because we don't really know exactly where the bottom of this thing is. We do have this over here, so we could take this over this one, bring the D over, and there's our wedge. Take a look at the strength. RSI is up the top. Look for it to pull back down. Look at our strength meter. We're looking at it's pretty much all lined up. The dollar and the CAD are all fighting for last place. Looking at where the move came from, here is yesterday's high, here's yesterday's low. And so from the yesterday standpoint, let's look at a higher time frame, just see is this really trending up or is it trending down? You can see where it's really trending down. So it's making lower lows. So right now it's kind of in this basing area. Look where our Fibonacci lines are. 15 red, 15 green, and we should have a 15-minute blue down below here. Here's our 15-minute blue. So here's the range. Here's the upper range. Here's the lower range, right smack dab in the middle. Which way is it going to go? We don't really know yet. But I would say if it gets up here, right now it's in the undershoot area of the 15. We do have a little bit of drop. Here's a little basing over here. So I'd be looking at this area for a retest. And if we look at our 15-minute, we put a 2-minute Fibonacci line on here for the overshoot and undershoot area. Here's the overshoot of the 15. So I could also call this, you can also call this a trap. Call it what you want. It's only should only be about 7 pips here, I believe. From here to here, 7 pips. So that's a 15. Now come over here down below. Let's see, here's our 15. Let's put some 5-minute ones, markers in here. Just this helps us find out where we really are on the number curve or on the money curve. So here's 15, here's a 5, so it's right here. So I'd be looking at this area. And mark this as a 5-minute 15, or 5-minute red. And we're going to put the 2 minutes on with that. And so here would be our trap down below. Or we could call this the overshoot of the 5-minute. Take all this off. And here's what we have. Let's take it over to a 5-minute chart. Move these over so we can see them. And right now we're just waiting to see where this thing's going to break. Here's the upper part. And so we can let's tweak this up a little bit. Right now it's pretty much right in the middle. Here's where a lot of the action was, right in between. We take it down in between here, the red and the green here. Maybe a little bit halfway between, like halfway between here. It came down, came on up, based, went up, came back down, based, went back up, came back down, based, went back up. And now we're looking to see if it's going to break through the bottom. But this area right in here is the mid-range. And you can see that here was right here is the 15-minute level. And so basically what it did was it undershot that. Again, this one I'm not too excited about taking, period. You'll see how the market opens up. But right now, if you can take it short up here and long down here, you have a little bit of a range back to the mid-range. You're not going to have a lot of room. Let's see, it came down deep into your trap there. You got your 9 pips to that side. But if you get the breakout, here's where you can get really whipsawed. It breaks out, comes back down, you'd have to come back fairly deep into here to get your 7 pips out of it. Comes down here into this area, goes back up. Let's see what our strength meter looks like. Still showing pretty much the same. A little bit more dollar strength. And this would be the overshoot of the 15. Right now it's made a high, a lower high, a low, still a low. So it's still basically spooling up. And each time it goes up, it's getting a little bit narrower. The range gets narrower and more narrow. Here we had a little bit of a break of this one. We had a trend line coming down. This one did break a little bit where we got the alert. And this could be the beginning of our M. And if we wanted to go a little bit further, draw this on as a harmonic, you can look at the X, here's the A, here's the B, here's the C, or it might be over here. We're not sure where that's going to stop. and the D coming down here right around this area. And then your range is going to be from, let's take this one off just to clean this up a little bit. You see the harmonic, so here's our X, here's our B. Draw a trend line. Here's our A, here's our C. Draw a trend line. And then once it breaks this, and the question is, will it have enough room to get it to a target? Now this D could end up all the way down here like that to this one. That'd be a nice little move, but you'd want to have a break. And so right now it's sort of inside this triangle right here. And usually once it breaks out of one triangle, it goes and plays around into another one.
Who would have thunk it that we'd be using geometry?
Yeah. That's all it is. It's a matter of angles is what it is. It's all retracements and angles. And I said these different patterns have different angles to the patterns. Like a Cartley is one pattern, a butterfly is another one, or a shark is another one, or a crab is another one. It just depends on what the angle retracements of reference to each other depends what they call it. But here, this could be like your leg 1, could be your leg 2, here could be your leg 3. You see where the moving averages are crossing over. Right now, I'm not ready to take this trade. Like I said, I'm looking at this as being more of a trap area up in here. Actually, maybe down a little bit lower or actually anymore. Comes up. It should not, this area should hold. We've got a nice little retracement at 85% of this from A to B to C is an 85% retracement. And as long as it doesn't break the A, it's still a good, it still give you a leg 1, leg 2, leg 3. If this one comes on up and breaks the A, all bets are off. It goes into a different area, different category. But this was a nice little break, came up. This is where it tagged the 15, came back up. This is actually, I'll call it a trap, or we can call it the retest area. But it's the 7 pips below where this one is, and it came right up about halfway. And now, as this working its way back down, you're getting like a little A, B, C. It may retrace a little bit. This could be your M right in this area, from your B to C, pull back, come back up, respects the C, this trend line, and then there's your, that would be your trade. Here's your M from here. From here to here. Here's your M. We're still showing a 3-point spread on the dollar on the 5-minute. Let's see what it looks like on the 15. And is that the market? The market is now open. Let's take a look at this. We'll take a list real quick, and then we're going to go call it a day. Strong move up. This is where a lot of times when you see these strong moves up, right, that goes straight up into the trap. The market makers are driving the price on up here just to have all the hedge funds have all their sells right up in here. Market makers drive it up. Hedge fund sells it, bring it down, everybody makes a profit. Except the guy that just buys it right up here.
True.
We're at the extreme right now. Our RSIs are up here in the above the 75. Let's see what it looks like on the 5 minute. We'll go to the 5 minute chart here. Getting up there. Here's the extreme right here. Everything was up at the 75 and 89 area. The C is still valid. You basically have a double top right here. And frankly, I think it's a safer bet to take it short right here and wait for the pullback. I'm just going to do this to give a demonstration. Sell, limit, market. Demonstration purposes only. Have my stop up, keep my stop way above here. Let's see, that's at 37.88 or 27.88. We're filled at 27.70, so that'd be a 12 pip stop to let the break up the overshoot area. I'm gonna go for 12 pips. I'm gonna stop it. I'm gonna say 12 pips, 10 pips. Move it up above here. That's 14. It's way more than what we should need. And the target being down here at, and so basically risk reward is, again, I'm looking at to come on up here to tag this, maybe get into here a little bit more. We'll just have to wait and see. Anyway, market's open and we're done for the day, done for the week. I thank you everybody for coming in. Hope it was a good week for you. We've made a couple good trades this week. We saw a couple good ones this morning. And with that, have a safe weekend and we'll see you on Monday. Everyone have a good day.
All right, everybody. Have a nice
great
weekend. Hey, Christine.
Bye, Ava. Oh, do you need me, Ava?
No, I just wanted to say, okay, you're on your way out, are you? Are you there? Or did, never mind. I'll talk to you.
Yeah. You might have missed her.
Yeah, maybe.